Life is either going to manage me or I'm going to manage life. Brother, you've got to be a stone cold killer to be good in this game. The day when there's consolidation and the market's not moving, nobody's making money. Bang, bang, bang. I've never looked back. So when I'm going down $1, $2, $3, I'm okay with it. You know, on the other counts, when it's going down $3,000 or $4,000 at a time, it ain't so pretty. And that's literally what I do in the market. I find my points of interest, my navigation points, and then it's just a case of figuring out which way the market's manipulating.
Yo, what's up guys, it's Nqobile Tembane from Top Traders South Africa, and I'm bringing you guys another installment of Market Masters, where I sit down with the most prominent and talented traders in the industry. And today we're in Durban and I'm joined by Justin Harrison. Hi, how are you?
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be with you guys.
No, thank you so much for also honoring the invites as well. I'm really looking forward to, I think we're going to have a lot of very crazy conversations today, because I know I went through your feed as well. I think TikTok and Instagram. Yeah. I was watching, I was just like, gee, this man talks. This man really talks. Yeah, but apart from that, how are you doing today?
All good, man. I mean, we live in one of the best places in the country, right? Our infrastructure is not doing well, but everything else, we got the great weather, we got the great ladies. Cost of living is amazing down here.
Oh, yeah?
I couldn't be happier. I love this place, yeah.
Compared to Joburg?
Oh, it's way cheaper.
Yeah.
Way cheaper.
Okay, now that's interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah, so you're here because you're a trader. And I know you just got into the game. You haven't been that long in the game, but you've accomplished quite a lot in a short space of time. And I think I really want to dig into that, because I'd like to believe a lot of people, yes, we do know Forex does take time. It does. Yeah. It requires a lot of effort from people.
For sure.
But then you find unicorns out there who come and they do the most. And I think you're a unicorn.
Definitely, like I consider myself very blessed. I also think timing has a lot to do with things. Okay. And maybe as we get into my story a little bit, it will make sense in terms of my timeline. But definitely, I mean, I've met a lot of traditional guys in the industry who've been around a long time, and they're saying like your rise is just unnatural. And so much so that I'm actually working with very large financial institutions now. So I'm a funded trader. I'm not prop firms. It's through private equity.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask about the private equity.
Very unique. I've had some of the liquidity providers come in and obviously look at my trades upstream. Just the way I'm doing things is a little bit different to everybody else, and I'm very open to talk about how I trade. It's very, very different to everybody else. But I think to understand how to trade, you need to understand the story. So, you know, I don't know if you guys will remember this. How old are you?
27.
Okay, so you might not remember this, right? But in the day, Forex programs, I'm going back 25 years ago, were sold 25. On a compact disc. Okay. And there was a guy living in our area who was selling these CDs, and they were very expensive. Back then it was like 12,500 rand. So you can imagine 20 years ago it was a lot of money.
Yeah, that is a lot of money. Before we continue with today's episode, let's talk about some of the most common trading rituals and superstitions. Some days are more favorable for trading than others. There's a specific time of the year that affects trading for other reasons other than economic or political ones. It's better not to trade on Mondays. It's better not to trade on Fridays. Better not to trade in December. Well, luckily nowadays, you do not only need to put your trust in unjustified superstitions, but on the obvious facts and information available to you with Octa Space. Octa has made huge strides in the trading industry, where you can quickly analyze the market news and insights right in the app and start trading by using Octa Trader. Octa Space gives a seamless transition from learning into trading. You can do all the following in one app: insights in real time, pattern analysis, technical and fundamental analysis, educational tips, a quick flow to turn an idea into a trade. It may be difficult to start something new by yourself, but it's easier if you're in a community of like-minded people. Octa Space can help with that. You can read posts, analyze them, and also put up reactions. The Octa Trading app is user-friendly and available on the App Store, Google Play Store, and a web version. And don't forget, use the promo code MarketMaster for a 100% bonus on your deposit. Try Octa Space today.
And I was doing well in business. I was a young man. I was on the come up, and I was always looking for an extra hustle to make some money. So I got into this Forex thing, bought the CD, took the course. Man, I crashed and burned. When I say I lost money, I like properly lost money.
But what was in the course though at the time? Because I think it was 25 years ago it was different, right?
Very similar actually.
Really?
So very similar technical analysis, like your general patterns, but no market fundamentals. It was all technical, right? And not too much theory and stuff on candlesticks and that sort of thing, but mainly patterns and charting. So a lot of emphasis on charting. And the software was, I mean, if you can go back to the earliest version of MetaTrader, like uglier than that, right? And I traded for, I mean, I can't remember because it was such a long time ago. I think maybe 3 months, and I lost a lot of money. I mean, I really burned through my savings. And I was like, no, this thing is a scam. I know that fancy car that guy's driving who sold me a CD is making his money of selling me the CD and not actually off trading, right?
So basically nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed. All we've done is we've added some new cars and it's our software online, right?
Yeah.
And so I got burned so hard by it, and I decided to focus exclusively on business. And that's what I've been doing pretty much for the last 25 years. Okay. I've had my head down, focused on business, building amazing online businesses. I built businesses in the States, in the UK. And I'm almost at the end of my career now. I'm sort of 2-3 years away from retiring completely from business. And I've started, during COVID, I started talking to people about money because I realized that a lot of people actually don't understand money management.
Okay.
And people haven't been given what I like to refer to as generational wealth, the ideas and the concepts that you need to build actual wealth. You know, getting the money is one thing, it's what do you do with it that counts.
That is correct.
And so COVID came around, I saw everybody who was flashing these lifestyles beforehand, and then COVID came and shone a light on where the problems were. Most of the people were over leveraged, they were in debt, their homes were completely bonded to the tilt. And so I decided to open up a YouTube channel and start talking very frankly. Now what's interesting about this story is that for the last 20 years, I've been building financial technology. So I've been in the financial space, but on the outside of the financial space. So I'm not a broker, I'm not your typical actuary. And my single area of focus has been big data and analyzing data and figuring out what the patterns are in the various markets. So everything from insurance to banking.
Okay. So you've basically been participating, but without participating.
Exactly.
Okay.
The way I like to tell people the story is I don't like to be regulated because I'm a bit of a maverick.
Yeah.
So I've always liked to fly on just on the outside of the industry. And also I find that the financial industry, like it should be, is very constrained. So there's not a lot of space for innovation. And innovation is slow. So I've always liked to do it slightly from the outskirts. So I've built aggregation engines and I've built some really interesting products over the years. So I made money, and then the only thing I knew what to do with money is to go and invest it into the stock market because the stock market made sense. In fact, I built a beautiful application to help people value companies. How do you value a company? What is it worth? You know, what are the ratios you need to look at? Is this a business that's going to be worth something in 5 years' time? And I built a dashboard, a piece of software that people can use. You can go and check it out, stockscreen.app.
Okay.
And it's freely available to everybody. I've made it open source for the public. And I've been doing that for 20 plus years. I've been investing, happy to make my 13% a year, which is above average returns.
That's correct.
And basically, I've seen my money double in the stock market probably 2.5 times because on average, money's doubling about every 7 years, right? And so Forex is just something that, because I got my fingers so badly burnt, I was like, I'm never touching this again. And then I started doing Instagram and TikTok and all this because there was quite a demand for my content off YouTube.
This is around COVID, right?
This is around COVID. Yeah, just in that COVID period, in the lockdowns.
Okay.
And my social media profiles just suddenly took off. And I think what people gravitated to was a very honest voice about money and in a language that the average person can relate to. I wasn't talking in acronyms. I wasn't talking in financial language. I was saying it exactly the way I talk to my mates. The swearing, the everything included. Like, don't be an idiot with your money. Like, be responsible. Save some money for a rainy day. Like the basic things, right? And the other thing I've always preached is sovereignty. I'm very big on sovereignty. So I talk about the importance of not just having control of your money, but making sure that your money can follow you wherever you go in the world. Because God forbid where you live, it collapses, the government goes to crap, wherever that is in the world, and you want to go somewhere else. If all your retirement is stuck there, you bug it, right? So make sure you create your own retirement fund. And so this is what I've been preaching. And I mean, you guys have seen in the last, I don't know, probably the last year and a half, Forex robots just came onto TikTok and Instagram and Facebook like with a vengeance. Okay. Everybody's selling a bot.
Yeah,
right.
Bots are
like it's. I thought the core sellers were bad. I mean, the bot sellers are something else.
And we're not talking about it enough,
right? And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a story. I'm gonna do a long format YouTube story showing people what a bunch of crap Forex robots are. Okay, so I went and I was like, I decided I'm not going to buy any of the South African bot sellers because I looked into what they're selling and they're literally just grabbing products from overseas, white labeling it. A lot of the products are open source, freely available. They're taking these EAs and they're just converting. A lot of the bot sellers aren't even bot sellers. They're actually doing copy trading and making it sound like it's a bot. It's even worse, right?
Okay.
So I fire up this 10 bots. I go out, I spend $8,000 of my own money to make this YouTube video. It's going to be the most expensive YouTube video of all time that never gets to the public, right? So I buy 10 bots. I put $500 in each. And my office is all like computer screens for my online businesses and my sales systems and all the stuff we've got going on. So suddenly I convert this into like a trading room and I got all these bots running. And I'm like, I'm going to make a story. I'm going to show people that bots are not going to work. And my understanding behind, first of all, I could see the bullshit in the industry, right? But secondly, to me, if you're trading purely on technicals, which is pretty much what a bot is doing, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's only showing you part of the picture. So I'm like, I'm gonna show people that this is nonsense, and I'm gonna have this YouTube video is gonna go super viral. Start this, and I was right. These bots lost money. Like when I say they lost money, they started making, then they lost. Started making, then they lost. The bottom line is I got washed properly. And it felt good. Like it actually felt good to lose money because I was like, see, I'm right. But the strangest thing happened. I was sitting watching the charts, okay? And at the same time, to the right-hand side of me, I had a Reuters terminal because my businesses rely on doing deep financial modeling. So I'm always watching the Reuters terminal.
Okay.
I was watching the Reuters terminal. I was watching fundamental news, basically. Bear in mind, at this time, I had no idea of any of the terminology in the Forex industry. Nothing.
So you basically just making a video just for making a video because
I want to show the public, like, stop putting your money into bots. Like, it's bullshit, right? And also, Forex is a scam because, this is where I've come from. So this is my intention. This is what I'm going to show the public.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there and I'm watching these bots lose money, but one of the screens was trading gold. And I was watching the Reuters terminal. I was watching, this was like, there was some conflict going on in the Middle East. There's a bit of conflict in the Ukraine. And every time there was news items coming, I was watching the price move. And I was like, something just clicked. I can't explain it to you. I didn't understand support resistance. I didn't understand anything. But the fundamentals made sense to me. And so I thought, you know what, I'm actually going to try and day trade the news. And that's what I started doing. I opened up a demo account and I day traded the news. Bear in mind, the only thing I knew how to do was to buy and sell. I didn't even know what a stop loss was, right? Opened up my demo accounts with Octa. And the only reason I knew to go to Octa had actually come to sponsor my podcast in the financial space. Okay. And I had an email sitting from about 8 months ago, right? So I was like, fired up a demo account. And I think within 16 days, I doubled that demo account.
Sure.
Now the skeptic, you guys are going to laugh when you hear the story because this is where, because I'm actually very cautious. I'm very risk adverse. I don't trust anyone when it comes to money. I always show me your bank statements, then we'll see the truth, right? So I'm like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? There's some work at the broker making sure that these trades on the demo account win. so that I come and put real money in.
Oh.
Yeah, check these are coming for me, right? Okay, go and open up a demo account with another broker. Doubled that thing in 17 days. I'm like, wow.
So
wow.
this is just demo on. You opened up another demo account.
Open up another demo account
with another
broker,
yeah,
right? Just to make sure that, like, I want to test this shit now, right?
Yeah.
17 days, boom, double the accounts. I'm like, there's something here. There's something here, and I thought, okay, let me put some real money in. Open up accounts, put $5,000 in. Brother, the first day I traded, man. Did I crash?
Really?
Did I crash?
All the way.
I was like, see, I knew it. I knew these brokers. They were tricking me. They were conning me, right? They were conning me.
Yeah.
So I go upstairs and I'm sitting and I'm telling my wife this story, and she says, the demo it represents the real market. What has changed? The only thing that changed is you put real money in.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that changed. Go back and do exactly what you've been doing, but don't see it as real money. And I actually had to go and sit and examine my own personal belief system on money. Now, I'm known online as Mr. Money, right? People know that I'm very passionate about money. I'm passionate about everything that money represents. And here I had to go literally take a walk. I took a day off and I went and sat up in the mountains, literally, and I spoke to myself. And I was like, dude, what the fuck's your problem?
Yeah.
What is your problem with money? And I realized I'm so risk adverse. And in business, I've worked so hard to make money. I've had a lot of success in business. But when I get the money, what I do is I hold on to it.
Okay.
I hold on to it so tight because I've had to work so hard for it.
But isn't that human nature, though?
I think so. I think there's another side to the coin.
Okay.
I think there's greed.
Okay.
And I was operating from a position of fear.
Okay.
Mine was the fear of losing. Right? And so I literally, the next day, I went back and I changed my mindset and I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pretend this isn't real money. Literally, that's what I did. Bang, bang, bang. I've never looked back. I have done one thing that I don't know if a lot of people do it. It's something that I do.
Okay.
I found that because I'm very risk adverse with money, I don't like seeing big numbers in front of me. So what I've done is I've taken a very small account. I have a $250 account that's my primary account that I trade, and I mirror that out to my larger accounts that I trade on.
Okay.
So in my mind, I'm only ever trading $250. Now, realistically, I know there's other money behind it, but it's very different when you're not seeing those numbers spin so quickly.
All right.
You know, like when you go into drawdown and things going like I can't handle that freak out, right? So when I'm going down $1, $2, $3, I'm okay with it. You know, on the other accounts when it's going down $3,000 or $4,000 at a time, it ain't so pretty. So that's the way I've managed it. So I literally just had to rewire my thinking, and I started making money just trading fundamentals. I still at this point did not know anything else. Yeah. Right. And because I'm very thirsty around knowledge. I love consuming data. I sit and do mathematical equations for my downtime. Like some people do crosswords, I do maths, right? So it's like I'm gonna learn everything I can. And I think in the space of 3 weeks, I just got every book I could on fundamentals, every book I could on technicals, learned the charts, learned the patterns, figured out that actually what I'm trading is market structure. I didn't even know what kind of trader I was. I was actually trading market structure with fundamentals. Okay. Right? And I've got some very unique ways of describing this stuff because people who come from a trading background don't know how to relay this stuff to the average person. So the way I think of market structure as an example, I look at market structure as if you're navigating in the real world and you've lost your way and you've lost your direction, what is the first thing you do? You try and find the next high point and the next low points, and those become your what we call points of interest in the market. These become your navigation points. And that's literally what I do in the market. I find my points of interest, my navigation points, and then it's just a case of figuring out which way the market's manipulating. Yeah. I don't really care why the market's manipulating. I mean, there's all these theories of like, I don't care, bro. I just care that the market's moving. And as long as I'm with the market direction, I'm happy.
I feel like people feel, the reason why people have such a negative view on manipulation is because their own trading is not...
They're not with it.
it's not okay with their own trading. You get what I'm saying? So now they need something to blame, or someone else to blame. So there's going to be manipulation. We live in the universe, the world. We live in the world.
For sure.
I think economies get manipulated all the time. But now you want to cry when you come to one of the biggest financial markets in the world. Now you want to cry when there's manipulation in a $7 trillion daily traded market. And you want to cry for manipulation. It's just like, it doesn't make sense. Just trade, do your own thing. Risk management, money management, all those need to be unlocked. So that when those moments happen, they are going to happen.
So here's the interesting thing, right? So you're 100% correct. Like, people get upset with manipulation. I don't. I get upset with myself because I was on the wrong end of the manipulation. I'm upset if there's no manipulation. On a day when there's consolidation and the market's not moving, nobody's making money. We need manipulation. You just need to be on the right side of it, right? And so if you're on the right side of manipulation, you're making money. If you're on the wrong side of manipulation, you're losing money. So I don't care why manipulation happens. I only care that it does happen and must happen. The one thing I don't trade is a consolidating market. I will not trade a consolidating market. So I've got a couple of risk management theories and strategies that I've developed on my own. Later to find out that, hey, this is actually where the institutions trade. So I'm actually closer to an institutional trader than I am to a retail trader. You know, everybody talks about managing, for example, the amount of exposure you have, right? I would argue that the higher your confidence in a trade, the more exposure you should take. And I don't care if that's through leverage, and I don't care if it's through margin. This whole theory about you need to only risk 2% per trade or 1% per trade. Well, that's playing the law of averages game, right? It goes back to taking 50-50s in the market. I don't take 50-50s. I might only execute 4 or 5 trades in a day, but I have a high degree of confidence that those trades are going to go my way. So much so that when I take those trades, the drawdown is almost nil. It might flash red for a second and I'm straight away into profits. Why? Because I'm timing my entries according to my risk management strategy. And my risk management strategy is very simple. Every time I put a trade on the table, that's risk. I don't look at it as opportunity. A lot of people, when they go into trade, they look at it as an opportunity. I don't look at it as opportunity. I look at it as risk. And I want to get that risk off the table as quickly as possible, right? So as soon as I've made my money, brother, I'm out. I withdrew from the ATM, I'm gone.
Because I think I saw your trades. While I was looking at your trades, I'm like, gee, these are like, your lot sizes are big. But you like you're in and out. My mind was like trying to comprehend, like you like in and out, you don't clear.
But not a scalper, right? So everybody thinks this is scalping. It's not scalping. So yes, I'm a price action trader. But what people don't understand about that trade that I take, I spend 4 hours on the charts waiting for that trade to show up. TradingView is my friend. I set my alerts. I watch the channels that it goes through. I wait for it to break structure. I wait for retest. I'm a confirmation trader. I only trade on absolute confirmation. If I'm trading with the market, I'm looking for a minimum of 3 confluences. Now, to break that down, if anybody's watching this, because, you know, Forex traders like to speak in these complicated fucking terms. What is a confluence? A confluence is really just a reason why you believe something is going to happen. I need 3 strong reasons why I believe this is the market directions go with. So if I'm trading with the market, right, I want 3 reasons why I believe it's going to continue going in that direction. Maybe it's the RSI level, maybe it's moving averages, maybe it's a pattern, whatever, right? There can be like dozens of reasons. If I'm trading against the market, let's say I'm trading a reversal, or what I like to call a pullback trade. When we get into those extended ranges, prices moved up super aggressive, there's always an opportunity for a little pullback trade, right? Those pullback trades, I need 5 reasons. Why? Because I'm trading against the market. So when I trade with the market, 3 reasons. When I trade against the market, I'm looking for 5 reasons. The way I put a trade on the table is risk management. People are managing risk after the fact. This I don't understand about Forex traders, right? People go, my stop loss is my risk management. Theoretically, if you take the right trades, you should actually never need a stop loss. You shouldn't be going into drawdown. That means your entry's cuck. It means your entry's timed terribly, right? So can you time the perfect entry? No, not always. But you can if you follow a very specific rule set. And I think this comes into me as a person. I'm very risk adverse. I'm also incredibly mentally disciplined. I can sit and stare at the charts for 18 hours straight and not take a trade. Right? I mean, my wife trusts me in a strip club.
Okay.
Because I can go watch all day, nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm the same way with trading.
Okay.
Exactly the same way with trading, because it's that discipline. And this is a mental game. And this is what people don't realize. It's psychology mental, first of all. It's about the trader. Two people can sit in front of the charts. One person can take very different trades to the other, even on the same rule set, right? So first of all, it's about the person in the trade. And secondly, it's about really having very disciplined approaches to your money management. And part of that money management is managing risk. And I'm a sore loser. Nothing pisses me off than taking a loss. I'm actually okay with taking a loss if all my rules were in check. I took the trade and it didn't work out. I can live with that. What I can't live with is if I skirted one of my rule sets and I took a 50-50 and it doesn't work out. Man, I can beat myself up hard over those.
Yeah. But where does the discipline come from? What would you say for you personally?
As a kid,
Okay.
I grew up very, very hard. I grew up exceptionally poor. I worked from the age of 13 to make money, put myself through school. And I realized that I had two choices in life. Either I'm going to be a total screw up, or I'm gonna manage my life. Life is either going to manage me or I'm going to manage life. And I've always had this discipline. I made that decision probably 12 or 13 years old. And I amongst my group of friends, everyone will tell you I'm the most disciplined person. I go to gym at the same time.
Okay.
I eat at the same time. I wake up at the same time. I go to sleep at the same time. I don't even need an alarm clock to wake myself up. If I say I'm up at 4:30 in the morning charting, I'm awake at 4:30 charting.
The body knows.
The body knows.
It listens.
And it's a habit. I think you create this through habits, but I'm exceptionally disciplined. And I think that has probably been the reason why I've been so successful so quickly. That discipline has played in here. And in fact, I don't know how anybody succeeds in Forex without being disciplined. I mean, I see these guys drinking Hennessy and having a lacquer party and everything. I don't get it. I don't know how they're doing it. They must be wired different.
Yeah,
Me,
100%.
I need structure. I need discipline. I need to eliminate all the variables. I'm so hectic before I trade. I make sure I go to the toilet. I make sure I drink my coffee. I make sure I have my water. I make sure I don't talk to anybody else because I don't want any variables coming into my trade. Imagine I have an argument with my wife, or somebody on the phone irritates me. That emotion is an additional variable that I put on the table during my trading.
That's true.
I literally just eliminate everything when I go trade, and I trade in a bubble.
And that's taking it that's a very professional approach.
Yeah.
That a lot of people lack. I know you actually said a statement right now, I wanted to laugh, where you say you don't know how these people are successful in trading without doing everything. I'm just like, but are they successful though? But we won't get into that one.
Well, I mean, I've done, like I said, I was doing the YouTube story. I mean, don't even get me started on copy trading. Don't get me started on all the stuff that's in the industry, because there's a lot of mess in the industry. And so I think it's important for conversations like this to get out there. I think anybody who's an aspiring trader, you won't believe this. I've got guys who come into my community and I started this community not for Forex. I started a community to teach people about money management and building generational wealth. Simple things like, guys, like eat right, go to the gym, have discipline, and then your money discipline will follow. Like if you're out spending your money stupidly and you're overweight and you're overeating, that leverages into everything in your life, right? So I started this community to teach that. We've recently brought Forex to it because my community wanted it. And I've had guys come in there who've been trading. It boggles my mind for 7 or 8 years. And so I've had years of profit, but I'm inconsistent. And they've come in and they said, like, the stuff that I'm teaching has just been such a fundamental mind shift for them, because they realize the thing that's missing is robotic discipline. Brother, you got to be a stone cold killer to be good in this game. Every day you got to wake up, win or lose, the same emotion. It's same emotion. Don't let your wins make you proud. Don't let your losses beat you. You got to be the same person. And that's why I say trade. I used to say that money will expose the best parts and the worst parts of people.
That's correct.
A person with no money, who gets money and they're a bad person, they'll be an even worse person. Let me tell you something. Trading is like adding drugs into that. Trading will not just expose you, It'll make you challenge every part of your own personal self-being. And I, as a man who think that I really thought before trading, I knew who I was. I really thought I discovered myself. Man, there was so much more to discover. There was so much deeper to go into.
You speak about this robotic approach, you know, and I think, like I said, it's lacking in a lot of places and a lot of people.
Yeah.
But paint a picture for us what that really looks like. Maybe somebody sitting at home or wherever they are, they're listening from, they're like, okay, no, Justin spoke about a robotic approach, but actually, what exactly do you mean? Because I think someone's probably sitting there thinking of you as a robot today doing a thing.
So I'll tell you pre-market, during the market, post-market.
Okay,
that's my structure, right? You'll see everything structured. And I'll take it one step further. I run a P&L sheet, profit and loss, for every single trade, right? And every single day. And then what I do is I journal every trade. And I have 4 quadrants. Is this a good trade that made me money, or is it a bad trade that made me money? Or is it a good trade that lost me money, or is it a bad trade that lost me money? Right? And I mark every trade accordingly. And then I delve into why I took that trade. What was the reason? You will be flabbergasted when you have these conversations with yourself. When you're honest enough to look into the mirror and stop bullshitting yourself, you will be amazed at the answers you receive.
Yeah.
Because the answers are all within.
That's correct.
Right? So here's what I do pre-market. I wake up every day at about 4:30. The first half an hour of the day, I meditate and I breathe. And I know this sounds like some white people shit, but it's a very simple thing. I just want to regulate my mind, and I want to regulate my heartbeat, and I want to bring myself to an even, calm state. Right? I want to eliminate variables. I make sure I've gone to the toilet, make sure I've got my water. I do the same thing every day. I go into my office, I switch on the light, I switch on the aircon and put it at the exact same temperature every day. I don't want to be trading hot, I don't want to be trading cold. I want the same temperature I traded yesterday, right? First thing I do is I open up the charts and I have a look at a couple of the things that I'm trading, right? Just quickly scan over them. Next thing I do is I go straight to my Reuters terminal. I read news headlines. I don't read every word that a news muppet writes, and I call them news muppets, because they literally just regurgitate what has happened. No news anchor is ever going to tell you what is going to happen. It's just a sentiment of the market, and I use headlines and I get a sentiment for the market. I then sit down and I have an 18-point checklist before I take a trade. 18 points. 18 points.
18.
I sit down, I mark off fundamental, I mark off technical, and I mark off what I like to refer to as my market structure points of interest. Where's the value gap in the market? And when I say value gap, please, everybody, don't think I'm an ICT trader, because I'm not an ICT trader. I just want to tell you, and I'll share some strategy on that as well. Is a very simple thing I believe in the market. You either find where the liquidity is, or you become the liquidity. It's very simple, right? So you can call that a fair value gap, you can call it a value gap, you can call it liquidity gap, you can call it whatever you want. Where's the money? I want to know where's the money, right? And I don't want to be going where everybody else is going. So I like to find the place where nobody's going, right? Which goes back to the fact that I am a bit of a contrarian. I like to do things differently. I sit down, I mark out that, and I like to refer to it as a map. So these are the price points in each market. I'm going to pay attention to them. I set my alerts. 6 a.m., I do a live stream with my community, and I show them what I'm seeing in the markets. To 6:35. 6:35, I walk out the door, and I go for a 45-minute walk. I come back, I sit at my computer, and I'm there for the Euro Open. I don't trade the open, I trade just after the open, but I like to watch the open. I trade no later than 11 o'clock in the morning. After 11, I'm out. I'm not trading, right? I'm done. By 11:30, I'm in the gym. Win or lose, I'm killing myself in the gym. Win or lose. I don't do less reps or more reps. I do exactly what I did the day before.
You don't punish yourself even if you had a bad day.
It's just the market. You don't get angry at a tree for being a tree. So why must you be angry at the market for being the market? Right? It is what it is. And so by the afternoon, I'm literally starting to read news again and just going through what is happening in the market, studying the thing that I'm trading. So here's another thing that blows my mind about Forex traders. What do you trade?
Currency pairs.
Okay, what's your favorite currency pair?
GBP. No, GBP, yeah. GJ.
So pound, it's
yeah, pound yen.
Pound yen.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the current supply of yen in the market?
I'm not sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is what I ask every trader.
Okay.
You're trading something, you don't even understand the fundamentals of it. You don't know if the supply of yen has increased this year versus last year.
Okay, you've got me thinking.
Right?
Yeah.
So people are trading stuff. They don't even know what they're trading. They're trading a chart. They don't understand there's real business behind it. There's a real product behind it. It's like when I used to teach people about stock investing, you're buying a stock. No, brother, you're not buying a stock. You're buying a company. You're buying a business. You're buying a share of that business. Learn to value the company. If you are trading gold, please understand what the metric tonnage of supply is of gold this year versus last year. Understand how much the central banks are buying. Understand if the central banks are easing their buying. All of this is the reason the chart moves. The chart doesn't just move because they're buyers and sellers. Right? So you need to understand the fundamentals. And when people say fundamentals, they think news. No.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. But
fundamentals, not news. Fundamentals is understanding the asset class that you're putting money into.
Okay.
Right? So I sit and I crunch data for 2-3 hours in the afternoon. And when I'm done, I'm done. That's it. Right? I come back in the evening, whether I've won or whether I've lost for the day. It doesn't change my day. It doesn't change my day. It's just business. It's not personal.
Gee, you sound so detached. Like you sound like but not detached like a bad way, but it's just like, gee, the way you're operating, it's like, I'm trying to make sense of it because it's just like, it's so like army-like, you know.
It's militant. There's no question about it. And if you want to win at anything in life, you need military precision. Like who's going to win at a push-up competition? The guy who goes to gym every day and does 1,000 push-ups, or the guy does a couple of hundred push-ups every other day? It's very simple. This is a contact sport. Get in there and get contact, right? And like do the job. There's no emotion in trading. Emotion costs you money. Emotion will always cost you money. Every single bad trade that I've ever taken and journaled, it came down to an emotion.
Oh, yeah. But how do you regulate those emotions right now? Because we're human beings again.
Up here.
Okay.
It's all up here. Yeah. You have to make the decision that you're not going to be swayed by your emotions. And that's why I'm very big on checklists, because part of having a checklist before you trade, it forces you to obey rules, right? So I've actually just recently developed a checklist for my students who've asked me a very similar question, like how do we get to this phase? So I've got 5 simple questions. How are you feeling this morning? Right? What is your emotion towards the market today? Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling happy or depressed? What are your energy levels? People go, what the hell's that got to do with trading? Do that every day for 3 months, and you'll start to find there is a pattern. There is a pattern with how you trade versus how you feel on the day. Right? Do you know that the market moves according to lunar cycles? Do you know this? Do you know when there's a full moon? Go back test this. Go back test this.
You're gonna have goons looking at the moon now.
Right? No, but think about it logically. Okay. So let's go into the science of it.
Okay.
What happens during a full moon? The gravitational pull on the earth is different.
Yeah, and everything.
Right? So that's we're all energy, brother. It's going to have an effect. Go and have a look. I went and looked back on 4 years worth of data, and I found that very specific pairs were pulled down on a full moon cycle. Now, because I'm a number cruncher, I look for patterns. And if something happens on repeat, it is a pattern. It is a cycle. But nobody's doing the work to go figure this shit out.
That's why everyone's tracing the Holy Grail strategy, because exactly, it kind of, people think they're going to take your strategy, take it for themselves, and they don't have to put in the work. And
I think that's the other problem. I think we're all trying to force everybody to be a very similar trader, right? So I'll give you an example. I'm terrible on long trades. I'm terrible. I cannot sit and watch a screen in a trade for 4 hours. I can't do it. It gives me anxiety. I want to withdraw my money. I want to get in, I want to get out, right? But there's some people that I know that are very successful intraday trading and very successful at it, right? And logically and realistically, I understand everything that they're presenting. It just isn't for me, right? And so I think you need to find the style of trading that suits you. It's very important. So I even go down to asset classes. I generally prefer to trade assets that I can touch, see, and feel. I don't want to trade anything that can print more of, right? And I know we're already in an over-leveraged market, but I like to know that I can measure the supply and demand of the economic cycles of a commodity. So I like trading oil, gas, gold. Silver, not so much because there's not enough volatility in it. But I like trading things that have fundamental value. I will sometimes trade currency pairs when they're in extended ranges. I generally only trade them in extended ranges because they're highly, highly susceptible to unpredictable movements. I want to trade things that have got predictable movements. And that's why I like commodities, and that's why I understand the commodity cycle. But again, there's guys who very successfully trade indices. There's guys who very successfully trade currency pairs. If that's what you understand, that's your thing. And I think that's the big problem. Everybody's trying to put everybody into one box. You know. But by the way, I only trade three strategies.
Okay.
I trade three simple strategies. First of all, it's all based on price action. It's all based on basic economic principles, and I'll give you my main principle: support and resistance, trend, and extended range. That's where I'm trading. I don't trade anything else.
That's it.
That's it. Why do I need anything else? If I find something that makes me profit every single day, why do I need anything else? Why must I go looking for the next thing? And that's the other thing. You find guys who trade successfully for a while, and then suddenly they're off trying to try something else, and they screw up their whole strategy. Be robotic, be disciplined. You find the money. It's like fishing. If somebody tells me there's fish in that hole at 8 o'clock in the morning, every morning at 8 o'clock I go and get my fish. Why am I going to go and try and find that fish at 12 o'clock? So now let me tell you basic economic principles, right?
I was about to have my next question.
This is my personal realization of the market. Okay, why does the price move up and down? It's manipulation. Do we care why manipulation is happening? No, we don't care why manipulation is happening. But let's think about free market economics. What is the basic principle of free market economics? It's willing buyer, willing seller.
Okay.
To have a willing buyer and a willing seller, you have to have a price that matches the offer. You have to have the money that matches the price that's being asked, right? So when the market does this, what is happening? We have supply out of sync with demand, or demand out of sync with supply. The market is always going to try and find willing buyer, willing seller. So the market is always going to do this. The gravitational pull that moves the market up and down is a very basic economic principle. Supply, demand, economics. Somebody wants more of this, the price is going up. And if there's less of it, the price is going up even more. Right? If nobody wants it, the price is coming down. This is how simple this business is. It literally is that simple. And once you apply that level of simplicity to your trading, you'll become successful. These guys, man, have you ever seen some guys' indicators on their charts? I look at this shit and I'm like, I don't know how you know what you're doing. Honestly, I think people need to declutter.
Yeah, he wants all the confirmations.
Right?
All of them.
And so many confirmations that they'll end up getting it wrong. Because why? They're ignoring the basic economic principle of what the market is. And let me tell you something. The Forex market is actually, and I say this in retrospect because I come as a person who came to this industry as a skeptic. The Forex market is perhaps the most honest and the most efficient market in the world. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Yes, there will be manipulation. But what happens if we go into an extended range of manipulation, up or down? What happens? The market eventually corrects. Willing buyer, willing seller. I tell you everything. Guys, Forex is easy. It's gravity. What goes up must come down. What goes down must come up. It really is that simple, right?
Yeah.
And if you can just find the momentum of the market, you can become a successful trader. The problem is people are not finding that momentum because they're too distracted by all these special indicators that are going to do stuff for them, all these special technical indicators that are going to do stuff for them, right? Instead of looking at what the market is actually doing. And most of the time, if you sit down and look at the market for the first 5 minutes of the day, you're probably right. You hear the market say, I think it's going up. You're probably right.
Let's talk about the culture developing around news events.
Oh,
I know you've got a lot to say about this. I was actually watching a video. I was laughing. I'm like, gee, somebody really does get it.
So look, I think let's just be realistic about one thing. Ain't no Nostradamus around here. There's nobody who can predict the future, right? The only person who knows what that news is going to be is the person sitting with that piece of paper when the news gets read off, right? The rest of everybody trading is trading based on a 50-50. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, right? The problem is the market's move on that 230 candle, the big news events, is a big opportunity. It's a big opportunity. Now, you put in $1,000 and you get movement on the thing, you can turn $1,000 into $10,000. You can turn it into 15,000. Like, the possibility is there, right? The problem is there's a culture that's being developed, and I want to say it's by a lot of the influencers out there. There are some very specific influencers, we know who they are, who will promote these NFP parties, these NFP events. And there's a backstory to that as well, because what a lot of people don't know is a lot of these influencers that are promoting these NFP parties, these NFP events, they're making money whether people win or lose on that day, because they've got a P&L deal with the broker, right? See, I was doing my story on why I don't trust Forex. So I know exactly how this industry works. There are P&L deals being offered to certain influencers who then go get 50 or 100 people in a room to trade NFP. If they win, well, it's great. Everybody, the guy looks like a hero, right? But if they lose, he also secretly is a hero because he's taking a 50% P&L deal on everyone's loss. So it's a real problem. So, you know, I'm just saying to everybody, be very, very cautious getting into the hype of NFP, CPI, PPI, all the rest, right? I teach my community to trade on the back end of news. I always teach them to trade the back end of news, because you're trading what the realities are of the market, not of what you think is going to happen. If there's anybody who can accurately predict the market, they'd be the most successful trader in the world. Nobody can predict the market. That's why I say, people say to me, what is your prediction for X, Y, and Z? I say, I don't know. I've got to wait and see what happens on the day. I've got to see what is happening in the market on the day. I can sit 3 days before, and I can tell you what I think might happen, but I can't tell you what will happen. And the problem is we've played into this gambling addiction of our citizens. And let's just call a spade a shovel. Brother, there is a gambling addiction amongst people of color in this country, second to none. Why? Because it's an opportunity, and I get it, and I get the hunger, and I get the thirst. But more people are going to end in tears than in joy. And what I fear, and the reason why I'm against it, is anybody who I actually would prefer people lose on these big news events, because it will teach them to go back to the basics. The danger of somebody who wins on a big news event, they're going to come back and try and repeat that again and again and again. And what's going to happen is their loss is going to be way bigger than their wins eventually, and they're going to get hurt financially, and that gives this industry a bad name.
Yeah, that is correct. You know, while we're talking about money, you know, I know you said money management. You touched on money management, and I think money management, for me personally, I feel like money management is probably the actual holy grail of trading, because because honestly, a lot that happens off the charts, it's where if you're able to handle your money well, by the time you get to the charts, I mean, gee, it's just about buying and selling at the end of the day. But I really feel like money management is really important, and it's what a lot of people overlook. People are chasing, yes, I understand, we need to have risk management, we need to have all the other things, but I'm just like, can we just get a little bit more into money management? What have been some of the money management principles you've learned over the years?
So look, I think, you know, obviously my fundamental belief system is if you spend less than you earn, you're always going to be financially free. And I don't want to be nobody's slave. The reason why I've never had to have a job is because I've been good with my money. I've always been an entrepreneur. I've made my own money, and I've never had to go and work for a paycheck. I became financially free at the age of 30. Not because I made an exorbitant amount of money, because I live below my means. Even now, you'll see the cars that I drive is very, very simple.
But weren't you driving a Ferrari?
It was rented, brother.
Really?
Yes. I was making a YouTube series in Cape Town, and I told everybody this on social media, right?
Okay.
I was making a YouTube series in Cape Town, and I hired a Ferrari for a couple of days. That's the other thing, by the way. I don't believe in owning depreciating assets. A car's going to do nothing for me. It's going to the trash heap. And believe me, I'm a guy who loves cars. I've had 61 cars. I've had incredible cars. So that's also the other part of the story. I've had a lot of nice things and then downscaled my life. I lived in like an 800 square meter house, and I now live in 200 square meters. Because during COVID, I realized I've got this big house, but I only use like 40% of it. Right.
Okay.
The rest of the space is just wasted. I'm paying for nothing. So I'm a minimalist by nature. I don't like to have a lot of stuff.
Oh, okay.
If I want to go drive a sports car for 3 weeks, I'll go somewhere and hire it for 3 weeks and enjoy the crap out of it and then give it back. I don't want the problems. Brother, you try and own a Ferrari in Durban. Do you know where you service that thing? You got to put it on a flatbed truck and send it to Joburg. I don't need those kind of problems in my life, right? If I want to drive a Bugatti, I'll go to Dubai and drive one for 2 weeks, right? That's the benefit of having money. You can go do those things. Poor people have to go buy the thing. This is my belief system on money. Poor people have to go surround themselves with material crap because it makes them feel better about their lives. And you might say, okay, but the guy's earning 300 grand, 400 grand a month. He's wealthy. No, he's not wealthy. He's got income. Wealth is when you no longer have to work for money. That is the definition of being wealthy. That's money management 101. When you've got enough money that you don't have to get up and make money, you're financially free. That's the be all and end all of it. Do I want to own my own jet? Hell no. Brother, I'd rather charter. When I'm done with that flight, I'm done with the problem. I'm not worrying about the pilots. I'm not worrying about the staff. I'm not worrying about the insurance. I'm not worrying about the hangar. People have got it all wrong. Don't go buy a sports car. Buy the most basic thing to get around. You want to go drive a sports car for a month? Go rent the thing for a month. Get it out your system. And besides, you can go rent a new one every other month. Right? This is the concept of wealth. Wealth buys you freedom. Why do you want to go and enslave yourself with your possessions possessing you? I don't want to be possessed by anything, least of which my possessions. It's just stupid, right? So you talk about the money management thing. I'm really, really big on freedom. For me, freedom is everything. To be able to get up and go wherever I want, whenever I want, however I want. I'm really big on it, right? And so for me, making sure that I have enough money so that I don't have to work, for me is the ultimate form of freedom, which I think comes to the other thing I really want to talk about in trading. Okay. I think the reason why I'm successful so quickly, aside from the discipline, the mindset, the money management, and all those other aspects, the risk management, can I tell you what I think the number one thing is? I'm not dependent on this money. When I trade, I'm not trading for a car repayment. I'm not trading for a bond repayment. I'm not trading to pay off a clothing account, right? I'm trading for the love of the game. That's all it is.
And that changes when you trade. When you trade because you need money, or trade because I know I think I phrased it wrong, but you get what I'm trying to
100%.
say. It's different, especially on the psychology, because like it's just like.
You've added another variable. And remember what I said earlier, I'm trying to eliminate variables in my life, so I'm a really good fucking trader, right? I want to go down in history as one of the greatest traders that ever lived. It's my mission. And that mission means I have to eliminate variables. And the only way to eliminate variables is not to take on all this other crap that you don't need. So I say to people, come to if you want to really be successful, only go full-time in Forex when you're not dependent on it. Right? Because if you're dependent on it and you're having a bad month, that's gonna mess with you, right? And then it gets even worse because then you're gonna start revenge trading, because now you're trading up against who? You're trading up against yourself. The market's hard enough. Now you want to put yourself in the equation as well. And I think that's what's made me incredibly successful. I'm not dependent on this money. I've been very successful in business, and I've come to this almost very privileged in the sense that if I make money this month, I make money. If I don't make money, I don't make money. Brother, do you know how happy I am to make 10% return in a month? I've been getting 13% a year for the last 20 plus years. When I get 10% a month, I'm like, holy crap. There's months where I'm doing 60, 70% return, and I'm going, this can't be real. And so a big part of it, the money management side of things as well, I want to say to everyone, when you make profits, withdraw your profits. Guys, withdraw your profits. I see so many people just trying to flip accounts, and it's a bad strategy. And take money and put more money. Treat it like a business. Run a profit and loss report. Say, this is how much my goal is. If I don't make it, okay, let's readjust for next month. Sit down and treat it like a business. If you open up a shop and you put things inside the shop, you're going to know what it costs, so you know what to sell it at, right? You'll know where you're making a profit or loss. Most people in trading don't know whether they're actually making profits or losses. They go, I made X amount of rands or X amount of dollars, but they don't know the percentage. They're not calculating all the losses. They're not equating it back to how much time they're putting in. Because that's the other thing people don't understand about this industry. Yes, people see my 3-minute trade that makes a shitload of money, but they don't know that there's 4 hours that goes into it. So whatever I make, I have to divide that by 4 hours and ask myself, is that worth my time?
The private equity.
Yep.
Yeah, you how did you attain private equity? Or because you said you're funded, but you're not funded in the
traditional sense.
Yeah.
So I had one of the brokers that I trade with overseas has a liquidity provider who seeks out very high value traders with low risk management. They look for a very specific kind of trader. And I got asked if they could do an introduction, because they're seeing my trades, they're seeing it on the brokerage, and they're seeing what I'm doing. Had the interview with it's a very large financial institution, and they said to me, listen, we want to back you, we want to give you room to breathe, we want to put capital behind you. And that's literally where the discussion happened. So it's a very well-known large financial institution that is basically allowing me to trade off book for them. Because obviously I'm not a licensed trader, I haven't got all the official qualifications. But what I like about them, the way they look at things, is they say your qualification is the results that you put on the table. So that's something I really value about them. And it's such a fantastic relationship because it's brought me into a very structured environment. I'm already very structured, but we sit down and review my trades every day together with their team, with their analysts. We sit down and we review my risk management with their analysts weekly. We look at, something I didn't even think about, which, I started to realize this is where most traders are actually probably making the biggest mistake. If you look at most people's win rates is probably, that are successful, their win rate is higher than their loss rate. But if you look at the amount dollar value they lose per trade, it's higher than the amount they win per trade. And if you just flip that variable by getting better management in place, you literally quadruple your profit. It's literally that simple. So that's one of the things I value about working with these guys. And so we sit down and review my trades weekly. They're a fantastic team. I mean, they say to me, like, listen, if you need anything, we're there. You want your meals prepped, we'll get somebody to prep your meals. And so they put considerable amounts of capital behind me. And it's a relationship that, I'm only like 3 months into the relationship now, but I can see the value of the relationship. And I think probably for anybody who's really serious about trading, I think that's probably the way to go, rather than the prop firm thing. I think prop firms, we've all seen the recent history of prop firms. Also, if you understand how prop firms are funded, it's largely funded through the losses of failed challenges. There's a lot of room for manipulation in the prop firms. What I like with working with an actual financial institution is it's very regulated. They can't screw around. It's kind of like why I entered the financial space with my businesses, because I know that if a financial institution that I'm doing business with doesn't pay me, I can interdict them in court and bring their business to an absolute standstill, right? Whereas if you're doing business with Joe Soap and they don't pay you, there's not much you can do. So this is what I like about working with private equity, and the private equity pool that I've got access to is really big. It's almost unlimited. And so as I perform and as the relationship builds, I'm hoping it's something that will grow.
Yeah. That is beautiful. You have said a lot in a very short space of time.
And there's so much more.
Yeah.
There's so much more, right?
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to need a part 2 at this point. No, but like you really just come and you said, hey guys, it's like this.
I think people are complicating trading, man. I know it's. I catch myself in these conversations. A guy in the gym catches me the other day, and he's telling me about he's been trading for 4 years and he just can't make it. I'm like, dude, you're complicating shit. It's really not that complicated. The market can only move one of 3 ways: up, down, or consolidate. Okay, so we're not trading consolidation. Eliminate that. Right, so you're going to trade up or down. Just find where the market's going up or down. It's really not that complicated. But everybody is trying to predict the market, and I think that's where the problem is. Get away from trying to predict the market. I think as arrogant as I can appear, I'm incredibly humbled by the markets. I'm incredibly humble when I sit in front of a chart. Because the market will always be my leader. The market will always be my instructor. I don't instruct that market. There's $7 trillion going to prove me wrong if I try and be the boss. Yeah. Right? So for me, it's just, it's the way I try and explain this to people. Say, I don't want to be the whale. I don't want to be the whale in the market. I just want to be the little fish that feed underneath the whale. I just need to make a couple of $1,000 every day, and I'm happy. Yeah. Yeah. So I actually, there is something interesting that I'm doing. I feel like our industry needs a safe space for people to come together. There's a lot of egos in this environment, and it's largely driven by the fact that people are very cocooned in their environment. So when they come out, they want to be loud and proud, and they want to show and tell, But I think there's a space for people to learn from each other. And so I'm actually in November, thanks to some very, very generous sponsors, in November bringing the first live Forex event to Durban of its kind. We're going to combine entertainment and education. And I'm hoping, and I believe it's going to be one of the industry events. It's going to become a regular industry event. We can bring people together from different trading styles, different backgrounds, maybe bring some overseas people, and just really take people for free. Because that's the other thing. Everybody's trying to make a buck off everything, right? Do it for free and really generate better traders. Because I believe, and as I say, I came to this industry as a skeptic. I believe that Forex is the single greatest opportunity that our generation has at freedom, right? When you make money without having to kiss anyone else's ass, when you make money irrespective of what your personality is, when you make money irrespective of what your skin color is, your gender, none of that shit matters. This is an equal opportunity, unlike anything I've ever seen, right? But it requires good leadership, good mentorship, and good teaching. And the problem is there's a lot of bad stuff out there. For every one bit of really good, good information, good stuff out there, there's a lot of bad stuff. I mean, I was chatting to a trader the other day he's been trading for 6 years and he uses signals. Like, my guy, how are you trading on signals? Are you on drugs? And he's like, well, I'm not very successful. I said, well, it doesn't surprise me, right? Because if anybody can predict the market, they'd be incredible. The only person that makes money out of signals is the signal seller. Yeah, 100%. Right? It's become a multi-million rand industry on its own, sub-industry within our industry. All the Bentley driving, Ferrari driving, these guys, all of them are essentially signal sellers. That's what they're doing, right? And so I think there's a space to come together to help experienced traders, to help new traders, and for new traders to have a very unfair advantage by getting the right information. The reason I say an unfair advantage, I actually think for a new trader who comes in untainted by all the crap, I actually think they've got an unfair advantage because they haven't had all that nonsense put into their head. That's true. If you name some of the top Forex traders in the country, I don't know who they are. I'm totally cocooned from it. My Instagram feed is not people trading Forex. I mean, I stumbled across this idiot Mamba Forex the other day, right? I can immediately tell it's a bunch of crap. Right, I can immediately tell. Some of the stuff he teaches is actually pretty good. Yeah, okay. Right, but it's too much show and not enough education. And I'm not talking about his social media, because let's just get one thing clear. Social media is about attention. You go to the Forex markets to make money, you go to social media to get attention. Don't try and be logical on social media, you won't get attention. Nobody wants to follow logic. People want the showmanship, right? So there is that line to cross, but if you can't deliver it with something solid, and I've looked at some of these programs, they're shocking. I mean, the stuff they're teaching is shocking. I mean, ICT is such a fantastic concept on paper, right? It's such a fantastic concept on paper. But everybody's trading ICT. Everybody's looking for the exact same entry point. Everybody's looking for the exact same exit point. And what do you think happens? Those people become the liquidity in the market. So where I trade differently, let's just take I'll give you a very simple example. Let's say support and resistance. Most people want to enter to pick up the trade. Let's say they're trading up. They want to trade off that support structure, as close to that support structure as possible, right? Not me. I want to wait for it to go 1/3 the way in.
Okay, interesting. Very interesting.
Why? Because I want to be where the money is. The money is not there where all the deals are getting opened and closed. The liquidity is between where the deals are getting opened and closed. And so everybody's learning these ICT concepts and basically following these technical structures, but they don't actually understand where the money is in the market. We talk about fair value gap. It's not a fair value gap. Change your mind. Where's the money? The money's in that gap over there. Right? Because you're going to collect the money and you're going to sell off.
Yeah.
Collect the money and sell off. That's where the money is. And so my trading methodology is very, very different. The other thing that I do differently is I see the charts in reverse.
Okay.
Specifically on sells. Specifically on sells. Right? If I'm trading up, I see the market the way I see it. But if I'm trading down, actually in my head, I'm inverting it.
Okay.
Because it's the same trade.
Okay.
It's just in the other direction. And it's amazing to me how many people want to trade a totally different strategy on the way down versus on the way up. That's why I think there's quite a recent movement where people actually only concentrate on the buys or actually only concentrate on the sells. And it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me.
It really does. And I think a lot of people aren't even aware that, hey, look, they're trading differently in the opposite direction.
Right.
And they're trading differently going up.
So for me, in my head, I just mirror the trade.
Okay.
And like I said, my other strategy is I trade one $250 account and I mirror that out to my other accounts.
Yeah.
Because why would I go and now every month, based on different amounts, have to rework everything out? Again, I go back to that robotic thing. As I make profits, I take out off that, I get rid of it. Stick at 250. Same lot size, same everything, robotic.
Just keep removing.
And whatever I add in capital on the back end, it will portion out and leverage accordingly. So if I got, let's say, 100 times more capital on that account than the one I'm trading off, it'll lot size up 100.
Okay. I see. I do get it.
So I'm trading the same amount of money. In my head, I'm trading the same amount of money.
Yeah. I still have one more question. I don't know if you answered it. I'm just trying to make sense of it. I saw your lot sizes. Thing is, I think you need to go back again just for me. This one's for me personally.
Yep.
Yeah, the lot sizes are big, but again, it's like, because the thing is, when I see big lot sizes, I understand that any tiny movement you make there, like, it's money.
For sure.
It's money, and it doesn't require you to be in and out. But then you say you're not scalping. Sorry, my brain is. I'm just trying to connect all the dots. I think I might just join moneytribe21.com. Yeah. No, but let's leave that. Let's not get into that. It's fine.
So let me quickly give you my theory on this, right? Again, I go back to what I said about eliminating variables.
Yeah.
I'm very big on eliminating variables in my trading. If you take a long position, let's say you enter in the Euro session, and let's say that position is probably only going to close. Let's say it's a day trade. It's going to close in the New York session. Brother, how much difference is there between the Euro session and the New York session in terms of what's happening in the market? It's like day and night. The volatility in the New York session is completely different to the volatility in the Euro session. The volume in the market is different, right? The news is different, right? Everything has changed. So I don't want too much change. I want what I see right now, and I want to take it right now. So if you enter in a long trade, and that's why I respect the guys who trade long, because they got to have balls of steel. They got to have nerves like no man's business. You go in the early session and you're holding all the way through for a couple of hours or maybe a day or two. Do you know how many variables have been added that could change that market? Because you need to understand, well, you believe it's going to go there based on all factor and things. Somebody can drop a bomb tomorrow. A world war can break out. Some country could have an issue, and all of a sudden the variables just change completely. The trade that you entered into is no longer the trade that you're in because the fundamentals have shifted. Right? So I don't like those trades. That's why I don't like those trades. I respect people who take those trades. It ain't for me. Right? So for me, I'm like, how can I get the quickest sure thing? Well, it's very simple. You only need 20, 30 pips to be a very successful trader if you time your entries perfectly. So how do you time your entries perfectly? That's the real question. The question is, understand where the market is shifting. Understand where the market is moving. Don't try and catch the movement after it has happened, and don't try and catch the movement before it happens. Catch it while it's happening. That's why I say the trend is your friend. I'm comfortable losing 1/3 of the potential profitability and getting into a position slightly later because that movement is an absolute confirmation on the directionality that I'm going in. And I only need to take 20, 30, 40, 50 pips to make a shitload of money if you've got the right lot sizing. And again, you say, well, what about the risk? Well, it's very simple. I've eliminated the risk by trading confluences. I've eliminated the risk by taking a very good entry based on confirmation. So I use confluences and confirmations. So I'll give you one of my key confirmations that I look at. If I'm going short, I want to see a bearish engulfing pattern on top of my confluences at a key point of interest. If I'm going long, I want a bullish engulfing with my confluences at a key point of interest.
What?
And 90% of the time I'm right.
Okay.
Right? And the times that I'm not, my drawdown, the stop loss that I've got in place is so tight on those trades that I'm out, and the next trade I'm in profit again.
What time frame are you looking at this point?
Great question. So I typically trade the 5-minute time frame. 1 minute is 1 minute is too quick for me.
Okay.
But I never enter based on the 5-minute time frame. I enter and exit on the 5-minute time frame, but I watch my 45-minute, my 1 hour, and my 4 hour. The daily I do in my analysis before I enter the market in the morning. People talk about a top-down analysis. I actually go the other way. I go bottom up, right? I want to see a confirmation of directionality in my higher time frames. If I don't have that confirmation of directionality in my higher time frames, I don't care how many confluences or confirmations are in my lower time frame, I'm not trading it. My ultimate confirmation is the higher time frame.
Sure. Noted. What has been the biggest loss you've taken in the market? Please don't. We're not gonna count the one that happened when you first started.
No, that one has to be included because that is the biggest loss I took.
Yeah, no, but also it doesn't have to be the biggest in amount, but just when you look at that loss, you're like, gee, I actually lost there.
I've been very lucky in that the days that I lose a couple of $100. And the days that I'm winning a couple of $1,000. So the losses, again, I look at it in a P&L.
Okay. So
for me, if I lose today, but I'm still up a couple of thousand for the week, I'm happy. I'm not going to be winning every day. Anybody who thinks you're going to win every day, it's not a probability. But I win more days than I lose. If you ask me what has been the biggest loss for me has not been actually a monetary value.
Okay.
The biggest loss is the day I lost my mind. There was a day when I got upside down against the market. I got in. The first trade was wrong. I was wrong on the first trade, and then I tried to go for the second trade, I go for the third trade, I go for the fourth trade, and I traded an entire Euro session and found my mind just before the New York session. That is probably, for me, as I know you want to talk about a monetary loss, but for me that was the biggest loss because I disappointed myself. I allowed emotion to take control, and it was the weirdest day because I wasn't myself. No matter how much I wanted to step away from that computer, I couldn't. It was like an addiction. It was like an addiction to losing. I cannot explain it any other way. And that was such a wake-up call for me. It was such a wake-up call for me, which is why I say to everybody, this is my rule. If you take a loss, the first trade is a loss, move on. Come back tomorrow. I tell everybody I'm teaching, the first trade is a loss, move on, come back tomorrow. Because if you can get the first profit on the table in your first trade, it changes you psychologically for the day. Try and get that first small win, no matter how small. It's like life, man. If you wake up and make your bed first thing in the morning, right, you already won the day. You can get that first, if it's just $1 profit and you just see blue, it changes your day, right? But that day I went down a ton. I actually landed up making back everything that I lost mostly. I think I landed up in a small loss of $200, but at one stage I was down like a couple of $1,000, and I was just chasing loss after loss after loss, and there was no rationality to what I was doing.
I know, that's great. And obviously you've explained the lesson you learned behind that. Yeah, no, that's perfect.
And I think it's important to regulate yourself. I think as a trader, you are in this game on your own. We can all sit here and chat. At the end of the day, you go sit in front of that computer and that chart. You're on your own. It's your money and you're on your own. And the only person that's going to keep you honest is you.
That's correct. That is correct. So Justin, thank you so much for today. We need a part 2. We'll definitely do a part 2 if you're in Joburg, or if I'm this side again, 100%.
With pleasure.
Yeah, 100%. No, thank you so much, Justin Harrison. Guys, I will leave all his details on screen down below in the description if you guys want to reach out to him. And Money Tribe 21, what is that?
So I started Money Tribe during lockdown as a way to teach people about money, because there's a lot of people, especially in South Africa, who don't come from a background of understanding money. And I wanted to empower people to learn about money. And it's the strangest thing, man. I gave all my content away for free during COVID, and I was looking at how many people finished the courses, and we had less than 1% of the people actually finish the content. And it made me realize that people don't value anything that they don't invest in themselves. They've got to invest themselves, otherwise they don't appreciate it. And so we started building this paid community. It's not a lot of money. It's like 800 Rand a month to be part of the community. And we teach people my 8 pillars of foundational wealth creation, how to create financial freedom. We teach people about starting online businesses, creating tax structures, how to get a second passport, like all this stuff that we all want to know about, how to become free. And then most recently, I've introduced the way I trade Forex as a teaching. And so far, we've got a couple hundred students in there learning Forex, and they've been incredibly successful so far. But I'm keeping them honest. I'm saying to the guys, stay on your demo accounts until you're consistently making profits, then move over to a small amount of money. So we're going slow, and we're holding hands with the guys. Every morning I do market analysis with them, and then on top of that we actually do in-person events. So I try and get as close to my community as possible. We've got an app which sits on our phones. It's like WhatsApp. It's our own app that we developed that we can chat with. So guys are always talking. I've got a tax problem, or I've got a trading problem. There's always a community to go to. So I'm very, 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 very proud of the community we've built. It's an incredible thing.
That is beautiful. One more question. Explain the watch as well, because I've been looking at it. I was like, I need to ask.
Man, I gotta tell you, it actually started out for a very practical reason. Okay. Now I just do it to irritate people, if I'm perfectly honest, right? So this watch, as a younger man, I used to buy a lot of jewelry. Okay. I used to love watches, and I went through this phase of having everything, and then I went to this minimalist phase, and I got rid of everything. Yeah. One thing I've always liked is watches, and I still to this day do. So this watch I actually bought myself as a present when I got nominated for the Spotify Podcast of the Year. Okay. And I actually won the African Podcast Voice Awards. Okay. So that was my gift to myself. When I'm working in my office on the laptop, my watch actually scratches my laptop. and I want to see the time, and I'm quite old school. So what I did is I put it on my chain.
Yeah.
Because I'm always wearing this chain. And I can see the time, and it all works out. And the one day we were recording, and I needed a place to put my mics. I'm like, oh, that's a perfect place. And I stuck it on here. The first video I did, I got people going, what is this guy doing? Like, you're trying to show us you got a fancy watch. It was actually for a practical reason. Yeah. Now I've just decided I'm going to wear it like this because it irritates the crap out of people.
Alright, my questions are answered. Because I think just since from downstairs, I've just been like,
what's up with this dude?
I need answers, actually.
And so it's become a little bit of a talking point to my videos on social media.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't fan it too much. I let people make their own social media comments. People are in their own vibe there.
Yeah, that's true.
So I sometimes do some things just to irritate people and get them talking, because that's what social media is about.
Correct.
We want to start conversations. But yeah, it started as a practical thing. So I actually think I'm just going to constantly wear it like this now.
All right.
And check. I mean, I can see the time, I can see the date. It's perfect.
Such a dad move, though.
Well, I am quite old, so it's okay. I think I can live with that.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I appreciate the conversation, today's conversation that
awesome,
you had with
man.
me.
Yeah, great, and I hope you guys keep going from strength to strength.
Yeah, we will. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys same time, same place next week. And we're out.